Hello, welcome to YOLO Crypto. Every 4 years, Bitcoin halving shakes up the crypto world. But what actually happens after each halving? Does price always skyrocket, or is it just a myth we hear about? Today we're breaking down Bitcoin's past halvings and the real impact. Stay tuned. YOLO Crypto is an enterprise that's geared toward cryptocurrency adoption. We're in the early stages, but you want to follow us because we have big projects coming. So make sure to subscribe to this channel. Now back to the video. So let's talk about what the halving really is. Bitcoin halving cuts the mining rewards in half for miners of the network, reducing the rate of new Bitcoins entering circulation. With Bitcoin's fixed supply, this event is a huge deal. But what does history tell us about what comes next? Let's take a look. Let me explain the specifics of the halving to make sure that we're all on the same page. A Bitcoin happens every 210,000 blocks, so that's roughly every 4 years. And we know that blocks are a chunk of verified transactions. So when the remaining reward gets cut in half, meaning fewer new Bitcoin enter circulation, this is purposely designed to create scarcity, similar to how gold mining gets harder over time. The question is, how has this impacted Bitcoin's price in the past? Well, let's go back to the first Bitcoin halving that took place on November 28th, 2012. During this time, the block reward went from 50 Bitcoin to 25 Bitcoin per block. The Bitcoin price at this time was just at $12. 1 year later, the Bitcoin price boomed to be around $1,000, an 8,000% gain from $12. Now, the key takeaway from this specific halving is that Bitcoin was relatively unknown, but the early adopters recognized the supply shock that the halving triggered. Now we move to the 2016 halving, and that was on July 9th, 2016. At this time, the block reward dropped from 25 to just 12.5 Bitcoin per block. The Bitcoin price at the time of the halving was $650. The key factors of this halving is that institutional interest starts to grow rapidly. Also during this time, media coverage of Bitcoin starts to surge incredibly. You could also say that Bitcoin was no longer just for tech nerds. Everyone wanted in and wished they had already bought some. This brings us to the third Bitcoin halving and where institutional FOMO begins, and that's fear of missing out. This event took place on May 11th, 2020. The block reward dropped from 12.5 to 6.25 BTC per block. Bitcoin's price at the time of the halving was $8,500. 1 year later, Bitcoin's price is around $64,000, and that's a 650% gain. What was different about this time is that institutional investors really jumped in, most notably Tesla, Strategy, and Square. Also during this time, the pandemic and global economic uncertainty pushed people towards Bitcoin as a thought of digital gold. Lastly, DeFi and NFTs exploded, bringing millions of new users into crypto. Moving on to the most recent halving that just happened on April 19th, 2024. If history repeats itself, what can we expect after the most recent halving? Well, at the time of the halving, Bitcoin price is around $62,300. The peak is generally 12 to 18 months post-halving, so that would be April 2025 to October 2025. But why could this time be different? We have states and government watching Bitcoin and preparing to purchase their own Bitcoin. I'm referencing the strategic Bitcoin reserve that the president has teased about, and furthermore, more and more states in the United States are petitioning to custody Bitcoin apart from the government. More and more institutions are purchasing and holding Bitcoin. I'll reference Strategy, who just surpassed 500,000 Bitcoin in assets under management, and that is almost 5% of the total Bitcoin supply. Also, there are now Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, which shines light onto the space and helps onboard new users. Lastly, with the current president in the United States, we have new regulations on the horizon, and that's what a lot of people and institutions have been waiting for before they invest. So, as you can see, historically, the halvings have triggered massive Bitcoin bull runs, but the timing of when this happens varies. What do you think? Do you think that this time will be the same, or will we see something different because of all the adoption taking place? Let me know in the comments section down below. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. You can subscribe for more deep dives and share this with someone who needs to understand Bitcoin's history. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.